Hello, good day everyone. It's been a while, it's been quite a journey. I was a month traveling for the first time in forever. I saw many friends, but also I had zero time in front of the computer to do anything significant with Twitch, so no streaming. And so I'm a little bit out of shape, and it's going to take a little while before I get back into the right amount of energy. So bear with me, this might be a bit slow. Also today we're going to take it easy and maybe make a shorter stream, just 1 hour and a half instead of 2 or 3 hours. So what we're working on today is related to the reporting of server identifiers in the outputs on traces, in log files and other places after a server starts up. In a nutshell, we want that the artifacts produced by a CockroachDB server contains the identity of the server that is creating those artifacts. The reason why we want this is because in our tests and multiple other subsystems, we want to connect multiple servers inside the same process in memory. And so they all will produce their output and their artifacts as the output of the same process. And we want a way to distinguish them. So how this works usually in CockroachDB is in the output of a process. Let me get back to this. So let's say things. Oops, channel. Oh, excuse me. What we usually want is, okay, there's a lot of logging output. What we want is something in this part here, which we call the logging tags, to indicate the identity of the server. So what we see here in this particular case is that we have some messages that have this identifier. So this is a message coming from a KV server, and it has the identity of the server as N1. And then we saw a couple of other messages, like say this one here, which has the SQL I identifier, which is an identifier for a SQL pod. And then we have a bunch of messages that do not have server identifiers, like this one here, and that is somewhat concerning. So that's what we are going to try to improve today. So there is a lot of output here, and this output is coordinated via the Go context. So whenever there is an operation that logs something, logs out warning, whatever, they will pass the context here, and that is a context that is carrying the server information, and that eventually produces all these key value pairs or these server identifiers. So when we see a logging message, such as, say, this one here that doesn't have any logging tags, or maybe one that has logging tags but no server identifier. That means that the logging context that the log call was provided, or generally the logging context that was defined in this function was not set properly by one of the callers. And so, all in all, this is what we need to improve today, like track why certain functions do not have a proper context. So, an example of how this is done is seen in this PR, which I opened a bit earlier today, 72638, which transforms a code that was using, for example, context.background for some asynchronous task to become ambient ctx.annotate ctx. So what this does, it connects the context that you pass as argument here with our tracing facility, so that if tracing is enabled, we get a trace for the activity under that. And then we have this call here, log tags with tags, log tags from context, which is like a bit boilerplate. We're going to talk about reducing boilerplate a bit later. But what it does is it takes the logging tags from the context that this function was taking as argument, and then it stores them into the context here, so that when we run the task with this context, we get the same logging tags and same server information. So that is the idea that we are going to work with. And so how to achieve this? We are going to work in a two-pronged approach. One approach is to look at the log data that is reported here and filter out everything that already has server identifiers. So that the only things that remain are things that don't have a server identifier. And this will give us some kind of confirmation, visual confirmation of the work that remains to do. And then separately, we are also going to track in the source code the places where context.background is being used, or context.todo, which is equivalent to it, and then try to replace those uses by something better. How we're going to do this? We probably want an API that simplifies this so that we don't have as much boilerplate, and then we're going to have a linter that will search for those things here and then suggest to use a new API instead. Before we get to a linter, however, it is useful to do a little bit more of this improvement by hand, because we want to be sure that the pattern of code that needs to be simplified is the same everywhere. And so far, I only have 2 different PRs that do this change, and that is not nearly enough know-how to do this reliably. So we're going to move forward and track our output manually for the time being, and then improve what we can. So I had a... so where are we first? All right, so this is this PR here. So we're going to continue continue on this PR. I have a change that was in my git stash. You know what? I'm going to start my key display. There you go. I have a stash change here, which checks whether the server identifiers are present in the log tags, and if not, there is some output printed here. And it also prints out, using the getSmallTroth utility, a stack trace of where that log message was generated, so we can search for it more easily in the source code. All right, let's build this. All right, so what we're going to do after this is run a command. So in this particular case, I'm using CockroachDemo. And we're going to inspect visually what is left over, what doesn't have server identifiers yet. And then bit by bit, we're going to chip at this by adding missing instances. And then if we start to notice there is some kind of pattern we're doing all the time, that's where we're going to try to be clever and find out if there is a way to do that more reliably, like programmatically by a linter and maybe automatic substitution. All right, so cool. No, I actually don't want this anymore because I only want the filtered output. So here we see a lot of logging output that is not connected. So what is this logging output telling us? Missing ID. So this is like the approximate place where the output is being produced. Then we have the logging tags of the log message itself. And then here we see where the this event has been created. So here we have a little bit on an issue I will explain in the context of the source code. So we are in which file again? That's dixon.go in which package? Doesn't really tell us which package that is. Exciting. Maybe that's one of the more complicated things. Oh, I do see a here a file I can find. Con executor exec. All right. And line was 1845. 1845, I said. Commit SQL transaction. That looks promising. What does it say? This one. And then we have a commit fn. Oh, so that's going to be painful, maybe. 881. Fix and commit. And then we're passing the right context here still. And that seems fine. Okay. So this context is passed properly. And so here we are all doing this fine. So handle auto commit is here. And why do we not have a proper context? It is there actually. All right, so that's where we need a little bit more information. Where is this being passed? We have here a context. Where is this context coming from? Okay, so maybe that is not telling us enough. So we will want to try to find this at some point. Phase 9. Okay, that is in the server, I think. Oh no, CLI. I don't remember. Here. Oh, demo cluster. There we go. All right, so we are looking at this run initial SQL. That looks promising. Oh, start demo cluster. Oh, here we go. That's promising. So the start demo cluster is indeed the place where we're missing some kind of structure with regards to tags, and so we are going to do s.ambient. Come on. I think that's the right thing. If that's not the right thing, we are going to... I need to have a context. So where is the server? Oh. Run SQL. C.firstServer.server. All right, so the first server is the one that is interesting. So that's where we need to do this here. Okay. And this is the ambient context that we don't have, but we are going to find it probably. Come on. I don't know how to do navigation. I'm confused. All right, so server has plenty of methods. Config, do we have a config field somewhere? Oh, annotate ctx. That's what we want. Server.annotate ctx. So there we go. And that might just do the trick. Is there anything else here we need to propagate? No, seems fine. So we're going to try this now. So we were looking here at this start demo cluster tasks that were in phase 9 with this set zone here. Hopefully with this connection we just made, we're going to not see those messages anymore, because now they have their messages included. So if we look at this now and we scan, we see that we don't see phase 9 anymore, because phase 9 now has been included properly. We still see phase 2, 6, 7, 8. So we will want to do something about this, perhaps. I mean, some of these functions in the demo cluster do not really all right, there was a little bit of a technical interruption. So some of these functions, phases in this demo cluster initialization do not necessarily have a legitimate server to work with just yet. Like, for example, here, these are not they're not part of the server initialization. So all these here can remain the way they are. They don't need to be extended. All right. We can move on a little bit further. So we say here, opt into diagnostic stars reporting, initialize classes secret, create default DB, and things like this. All these, they are run on behalf of a server, so maybe actually annotate statistics I want here is probably need to be part of the run initial SQL functions that will be probably in a different file. So okay, so where is this initialization of this create default DB? Let's see. Oh, so that is going to be in startup migrations. Startup migrations, we said. Okay, so we have those, all these migrations are being run. Where are the migrations? Migration manager, stopper. So we have, okay, so here we're talking about a synchronous task. And we will want that to be probably a context. Ensure migrations. Let's see where that is called. So we see here that this is using this context. And what is this context really? It's passed to pre-start. Let's see where pre-start is being called. So here we have a context. Apply tenant license is start tenant. And then this one, pre-stars worker city_x. Where's worker city_x? Pre-starts. So this one is annotated. All right, so maybe for this one we're good, but it's too early in the initialization. That's really surprising to me. I can't really work on this right away. So this is something that will need investigation. All right, so let's report this finding here in the issue. So currently chasing contexts with insufficient sufficient server identities. So far, leases. So let's make this a list. Let's continue with this. Yeah, so this pre-start here we found. This is demo cluster 371. Oh, look at this. We have a phase CTX here. And we have a CTX here. That's not correct. All right, so we are going to fix this. Like this. Then we have this one here. All right. So that was a miss. Do we have other users here? Yeah, we have this one here. Cool. Let's have a linear scan on this function. Just something just called CTX without any qualifier. Okay, so this one is fine. This one is fine. This is fine, fine, fine. 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 This one is not fine. This. Like this. And we're now in a different file. Okay, so that should be fine. And what we are going to do here is to commit this as a new PR. Then we are going to commit these changes. And what we're going to do here to prevent further mistakes that are due to people mistakenly using the identifier called IDX, we are going to redefine I want to know if something is, if I can do this in the same scope in Go. Let's see. If I have A is 1 and I say A is A plus 2. And then this one. Oh, I want an A here. Sorry about that. For 3-second one. Okay, so I can do this here. That's a good thing. So maybe we are going to do that like this. Let's say B like this. Yes, that works. Then we can try this, probably. I think like this. I'll remove the facetics call. Then we are going to do this. Alright, so we seem to be fine, and here now we can remove this and replace it with a simple one. What am I doing? Oops. Oops. Not replacing this is fine. What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm not good at search replace. Here, yes. No, no, no. Yes, yes, yes. No, no, no. Yes, yes. Yes. No, no. Who? Why? This demo. I suppose. So we want this. And then we have this conditional like this. And then we search replace. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. Yes, yes. Yes. Cool. And then build this and see what happens. Seems fine. And we got a little bit less calls here. So we do see this phase 8 in descriptor state. So we are going to fix that at some point. Prefers the name CTX. We've seen folk make mistakes because they instinctively reach to the name CTX in their text editor. All right. And we were looking at this here. So there's absurdly is locked. So that doesn't seem to be right. So we are going now to fix that. I think. And there's also resume job. Let's see. Absurdly locked. So let's see what this has with regards to logging. So the context is fine. Absurdly is locked at line 140. And so the context here is not set properly. So it comes from here. And what is this new ctx here? Let's see where it's defined. It's here. Oh, and we see the log tags here. And then this ambient ctx is not set yet. Interesting. So that's because a SQL pod is not the... yes, I know what this is. All right, so at this time, the tenant node has not finished setting up its own identifier, I think. So we're going to search for this, by the way, in the full log with this. Yeah, and we want this with less command. All right. Phase is 8. And another one ready, starting tenant node. So we see that here. And we get some store initialization for the temporary storage. We see created SQL instance 1, but then we don't see the instance identifier being stored anywhere here. So that's not great. So we're missing something here. The start tenant is not finished here. So we have starting tenant and then we have started tenant probably. So the start tenant is where we see something missing. So where is start tenant defined? That's going to be in server tenant.go here. And what we see here is that we are not seeing yet the instance ID provider, and that's a problem. All right, so at this point, I am surprised because all right, so the instance ID is here. Init instance is here, and that is in pre-start. Okay, so we have the instance ID is here, but the context is not ready yet. We have a SQL ID container. It's here. So make tenant SQL server args. ambient CTX. All right, so we have here base CFG ambient CTX dot from context, like this. And this will connect this context to the server. And we probably need to do this in pre-start as well. If it's not, if this pre-start call is not done from the start, oh, it is from the start method already. And then do we have start serve SQL, and then it should be fine. Like this. All right, we can try this. Let's build this. Ambient context annotate CTX. Excuse me. Hi Pasana, and thanks for following. So now hopefully we are going to be getting some better output on phase 8. Wait, I'm not doing this right. Like this. Phase 8. Oops. Phase 8 I said. Cool. So this is better. Starting tenant node, start tenant node 0. And now here we have a stores defined. That seems fine. Starting SQL liveness instance. Oh, they're still not right. Still not right. I'm still not seeing the instance ID being defined properly. Ooh, that is intriguing. So it is in fact defined, but only here, but not earlier. That's worrying. So the start tenant here at this point doesn't seem to have the SQLi already defined, and that's odd. So let's see where this is defined. It is defined in make tenant SQL server args, which is, oh, here. Oh. All right, so that's what it is. And then let's do this again. All right. We're not seeing our instance ID container still. That makes me sad. We see it here at the very end, but it's not there. I mean, we have a couple of them here, but many places it's not defined properly. It's okay. We will probably need to revisit this. So at least there is a little bit of addition here. So annotate CTX is being set here. So that's fine. Oh, look at this. Background is this here. Oh, actually, it's already done. So let's do this. And probably, what is background? I'm learning something here. Why is this function taking two contexts? statics and worker statics. Oh, I see. I see what it is doing. All right. Cool. All right. So maybe it's not too bad, but it's not doing the right thing here, actually. This is yes. Add the server tags to say startup context. As server tags to a generic. Okay. We can't do this as a closer because serve with is running in a worker. Access. Access. Maybe no, actually. Access. Cool, 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 cool. And then, yeah, all these things seems to be fine. Probably. Oh, look at this. Look at this tenant starter server. So we have another one here. What is this thing here? That is making me afraid. New tenant. Yeah, all right. So we have the same issue here that we had earlier. The tenant status server needs to know about the instance ID. So let's do this. It's here. Tenant status. I don't know exactly how this is supposed to work. I want the instance ID container, which is here in the SQL Server args, which is going to be in the SQL Server at the end of the day. And then SQL ID container, oh, it's here. Okay. It's not how it's called. I think. SQL ID container. SQL ID container. Okay. Okay. Let's build this and see what this gives. All right, so this one I will need to do later. Let's go again to the mode where we have... Oh, interesting. Okay, so here we have an error. So at this point, SQL Server, SQL ID container, SQL Server is not defined. Oh, interesting. So this is in tenant.go. And here, oh, it's nil. Okay, tenant servers, but we also need the same object to set up the SQL server. So constructing with a nil SQL server and then assign it afterwards. Okay, that explains it. Hopefully, it's only used in one place. All right, so let's do this. Okay. Come on. What did I do? Yes. Okay, it's not crashing. Good. All right. It's good that we have a lot of reduction in complexity here. There is much less noise happening without any server identifiers. It's very good. We still have this absurd list locked, which is really annoying me, and this registry adopt jobs. This is not great. This is really not great. So what's going on here? I don't know exactly, but we need to fix this really. So there are some job things here, and there are some job things here, and they don't seem to have their server identifier set properly. So we need to do something about this. Okay, let me drink a little bit because we need to hydrate. Water is important. Let's go to adopt.go here and find what this was meant to do. Adopt.go in adopt.go line 247. Why is my that's why. So we have a context here. So resume job is called from here. Oh, and we have a Go routine here, and this Go routine is not using. Asana is asking, hi, what's the name of the Emacs package? We change icons in comparison operator like in this. This is a standard Go package called symbol prettify symbols mode. It's a standard Emacs thing. I hope this helps. I have a web page that explains which Emacs configuration I use with a list of substitutions that I define for the prettify symbols mode. All right, so this Go routine here is slightly concerning because we're not meant to use Go routines like this, I think. But it's okay. Let's see where this is being defined. Sorry, being used. It's used in at least here. Okay. Then we have a with session is a function that will use a regular context, and then we have a registry start function, and that's the one that's going to be interesting probably. It's here, and this one is using, say, start context. In this context, the pre-start function might not have the context being defined yet. So I have this one here. Register gateway. Annotate CTX. Yes. New SQL server. Oh, interesting. So that might not be the right place to do this. This setting, if a new SQL server. All right. So we have here this one, and we have this one, and we have this one. All these are set properly. But this context here does not know about, say, tenant ID. Oh, actually it does, base CFG. It's, yeah, there we go. All right, so we have these args here. Base config. ambient CTX. I think that's what we were missing. Okay. Aha! We solved a lot. This was the missing phase base context that we need to change here, that was causing the all the missing phase messages to not be attached to the right settings. So now we have just a few things here, and they don't seem to be particularly interesting because they're not like server functions anymore. So I think we're kind of good with phase 8. Even so, this one here is interesting. Like we have a create or update schema change job that we will need to solve. So let's investigate what this tenant password thing is about. It's this one here. Started this tenant ID, and then we have a context here, and so we're missing a phase here that we should have with phase 9, and that is this one. Okay, let's build this. Oh. So tenant server is start tenant, and that returns a SQL server. SQL server has an annotate context. So I'm confused. Oh, no, it doesn't. Interesting. So let's do that. Let's do that. And it will be, where will it be? Where do we get our tracing service or config or whatever? We must have an ambient CTX somewhere here. I would be surprised if we don't. Yeah, here, CFG. So where is CFG being used? Ambient context. We have plenty of CFG things here. CFG, 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 CFG. Have all the CFG things are connected. It's ambient context. Exact CFG. Oh, here. Like this. Okay. And then we will have a annotate function. Somewhere like here. Okay, and now we can compile this. Who? Oh, yes. Okay, I'm confused. It is like this, is it not? Rainlander, wait, are we coding on Thursday now? Ook, goedemiddag. The answer to this is yes, we are coding on Thursday now because I found that the Monday time slot was just not working for me anymore. Oh, and that's a tester, not interface. So let's work on this. Come on. Test server. And then it's going to be annotate context. Thanks, Rain, for tweaking the calendar. Alright, so if we connected all the things together, the tenant password stuff should not appear anymore here. And it doesn't. It doesn't. Ah, I feel good. It works. So there is a runtime stats sampler here that is missing. Oh, thanks, Stephen. Thanks, Rain. So this one here is probably not using the right thing again. So we see new runtime stats sampler coming from make tenant SQL server args. That's straddler. Yeah, so new runtime sampler context of background that is not working well. So I suppose like this. Yeah. Is this properly annotated? Yes. No. Maybe. Oh, we don't have a ctx in this function just yet, do we? Interesting. One here. Ambient ctx. Yeah, so this thing is won't say context. So that's the only function in this entire thing that wants a context. So what does this do? Okay, so we have contexts. And then later on it will be started probably with a go routine, sample environment, something like this. Wait, where is this? Where's this go routine being started? Start tenant, make SQL tenant, runtime 325. Log warning, could not parse build timestamp. Alright, so that's the thing that is confused. And are we going to be happy with adding a like this? That's not going to be great, right? We want to have a context. Like this. And then like this. But then this function is now taking one extra argument. And we will want this like this. And so hopefully now this one is going to disappear. Let's check. And it has disappeared. Success has been achieved once again. Now we have this other straddler. A get stats init CPU load. So that's a new thing. Emission control. We will need to annotate this. So where is this being defined? So I have a hard stop at 3:30, which is 9:30 in the US. So starting 10 minutes from now, that will be the time where we're going to start issuing some PRs to put this code into review. And then the remainder of this work we can do later. All right, so where is this going? This is in ghost get stats. Ooh, until admission control, like this one here. Let's see. This one line. It's Oops. Here, context.background. Yes, that's not going to work, right? All right. So where is this being called? Oh, CPU load listener. Okay. And we have plenty of context background calls here, so that's not great. So what is this grant coordinator object? I have cluster settings and things here. And we have a new object here. And then where is this being defined? It's in server.go. I like this. And this one has, oh, I like this. I like this. Like this. Like this. Then we're going to do like this. New grant coordinator SQL, where is that being defined? It's not defined anywhere yet, but we'll see. Like this. Like this. And then struct is like this. And then we'll need to have our thing here, which is core.ambient ctx context.background. And then like this. Oh, sorry, it's a small a. And what is it missing? 562. Oh, space, okay. So, and how many things do we have here that are not being set properly? This one, for example, store grant coordinators. Set Pebble metrics provider. Okay, so same. Yeah, we need something here. Okay. sgc.ambient ctx.annotate ctx ground. Like this. Then ctx like this. context at background is this one. IO load listen, adjust tokens. It's going to be called here. Come on. Here. Pebble metric sticks. Here. Concatenator. Okay. Where is this called? Oh, here. In the set Pebble metrics provider. It takes the first time and then it takes the second time here. Access. 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 Then we go here, we add the context. Then we pass it here. And then we have this one. And then like this. And then here. And then here. There we go. Okay. Access. How many do we still have? KV. Oh, these are test codes, so we don't care about those. Cool. All right, so I'm expecting still at least one error here because it's missing a context argument in the set Pebble blah 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 provider. Hurry, rail. We will have server.go, and it's going to be the ambient context. I suppose this has been. This is in the pre-start function, so it's already annotated. Great. So set pebble. Set pebbles, I said. All right. Not enough arguments. Yes, I know. That I didn't know about. So yes, this one here. Okay. And we will want to run the test. In that package. Okay. Yep. And then another one here. Cool. Cool. All right, so we made a lot of progress now, and we are going to organize this in different commits. I'm not going to send the PRs probably today because we are probably going to have to reorder the commits a little bit. So demo cluster ensures that tenant server events are annotated. Cool. So that is one PR demo phases. Maybe actually I can send this one. And this is from this PR. All commits, that's the last. Okay, so that's going to be probably, that makes us Steven. Like this. And then it is also informing this issue. Create this. Next one. Oh. That doesn't build, does it? Yeah, we can't do just this. We have to change this interface to make this work. And then we will need to have this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this. And then this, this, and this. That will come in a later commit. That's a different issue. Yeah, all these things need to be committed. Okay. Ensure tenant servers have annotated context. Oops. Alright, and now we have a little bit of a challenge, which is this commit I just made is not properly ordered with regards to the other one. So, what we are going to do is git log, and then we're going to rebase this interactively to reorder the two commits. Come on. We are going to pull this up. And we are happy with this commit. We are going to send this to here, but now we're going to do magic, and which is this. Because we want a PR just for this commit. And okay, this is for Radu and Steven and the multi-tenant team. This create, and then we get this PR number, and it goes to here. So last one commit. All right. Hard stop in 5 minutes. Thanks, Rain. I'm supposed to be in a different meeting right now. I know. So I might need to finish the committing of these last changes into PRs at a later stage. So what I'm going to do is stop the stream now and promise that you will see these additional PRs that we worked on today in this one here at some point. So I will say this one goes here, and then this one. And then we will need to have the job adoption and then admission server. And I'll add the PRs coming to it in a minute. All right. So we just did this. There are probably a couple of more things that need to be investigated at some point, but it's already quite a lot of progress. What we did not do yet is add a key in the Go context to store the server identifiers in a way that's a bit more reliable than log tags. But for this, we will need the ambient context to be a bit more clever than we have so far. So that will come at some point. But anyway, I think for today's stream, having three PRs, 2 filed already, 1 ready to go, is quite a nice achievement. So I'm happy about that. And hopefully all this area will become better in the following days, weeks. So thank you for attending today, and stay tuned for what will come of these changes at a later stage. And thanks for being here, and wish you a very good end of your week. See you later.